That's one of the main things with John Maxwell is you've got to have accountability. Accountability is step one. If you don't have accountability, you cannot grow. And that's just the very unfortunate fact for a lot of people, because you have to be able to look inside yourself, ask yourself the very deep questions. And even if you don't like the answers, you have to accept them for what they are.
That's right.
Because if you can't accept them, you can't move on from them.
That's
You can't
right.
grow from them. So, people have been they come up to me at conventions and stuff like that. I started life coaching online just to build up my experience with it. Come to find out, I'm better at it than I initially thought going into it because I had all this experience before. And what I ended up happening is I ended up helping a lot of LGBT folks. People who were in the closet. They were, they're gay or they're trans, or they have something going on that falls them under the LGBT umbrella, and then never really had anybody to talk to about it. A lot of people are. I talk to a lot of husbands who are too scared to share their femininity with their wives and their significant others because they've been this way for years and years and years. And I would just tell them straight up, a lot of it is just communication and trust. You have to be able to have that two-way street of telling them what's going on. And I would, coach them from there. How do you express yourself, how you talk to them, how you bring up the topic. So I was coaching online for years for free, just for free, because.
So let me just interject here because I find that interesting. So
Sure.
with those males that were coming to you saying that they had a feminine side to them, but they loved their wives and they wanted to stay with their wives. So you were coaching them on how to explain it to the wife, right? So basically, so the wife could understand and they wouldn't get a divorce. Did you find in your experience that your coaching helped them stay married, or did it not work, right? Did the wife just say, like, I'm not into this, I can't, you're not who I married?
Right. So a lot of that comes down to the initial foundation of that trust and communication. Because a lot of people grew up like I did, but they didn't ever fix the situation. They didn't ever grow from it, right? Mm-hmm. They weren't ever able to have that ability to express themselves. They just kept it repressed. And then you're in a marriage of like 10 years and you feel like you're going to explode because it's slowly been building up all this pressure all this time. And what do you do at that point in time, right? You have a significant other that's never heard of this side before. It's coming out of nowhere. And a lot of them feel like that they've been lied to, that the other person hasn't been their authentic self.
Correct.
And that the whole marriage has been,
that's how I would feel,
a lie.
Yeah, that's how I would feel.
A little bit of betrayed because you're supposed to have that trust in that marriage. And this whole time you find out that they've been keeping this massive secret that's important to them. Yeah. That's extremely hurtful. If I was in a marriage with somebody for 10 years or X many years, X amount of time, if I was with somebody all this time and our whole marriage is built on trust, right? I would feel harmed. I would feel hurt that they didn't feel like that they could share this with me. Right.
I mean, this is this is huge. Like you need to be upfront with me about this. But then why don't they do it? Because I think that the majority of women, heterosexual women, would be like, no, I can't be with you this way, right? Because we're supposed to be with masculine men. That is what society tells. That is what society tells us. That is the correct thing to do, right? The accepted thing to do. Oh, that's interesting.
So to finish off that thought, then, though, for those women that are, a lot of them, what's actually breaking their marriages is that lack of trust, is what I found. Mm-hmm. Because that lack of trust and communication, a lot of them end up actually being accepting, but they need time to heal, or sometimes the marriage breaks off specifically because of that lack of trust. And so some of those marriages are heading that way anyway because this person's going to explode. Right. So ultimately what it came down to is how long have they been together? How long have they been talking keeping this repressed and not communicating? And can that other person forgive them for that main part right there? But there have some that have been more closed-minded.
But have you had successes as well, where they've stayed together and they've accepted each other and had happy marriages?
Yes, absolutely. You don't, like I said, you don't want to go into a long-lasting trust relationship like that and keep stuff hidden from your significant other. But a lot of them were, they felt hurt at first, but upon talking about it, they're glad they eventually got around to it. And they, a lot of them, sometimes they go to couples counseling to, work on the issues themselves. Because life coaching just helps people reach their goals and overcome their demons and overcome their obstacles.
Right.
It's not a replacement for therapy.
But I think it is almost like a form of therapy, don't you think?
It's a form. I think it can help in a lot of therapeutic topics, but I'm not a professional in terms of therapy.
Of course.
Right?
But I will tell you that you also have the personal life experience where you've had all those, hidden feelings and emotions, and you've dealt with the pain and the discrimination. And I think that makes you more valuable sometimes than a therapist that learns out of a textbook of what they're supposed to tell us, because you've dealt with that pain, those mental challenges, those discriminating thoughts inside of you where you didn't know who you were and how to identify with yourself. So I would listen to you before I even listen to a therapist, just because you've been in the fire,